With trillions of dollars about to enter the crypto space, how is this going to affect our favorite cryptos like XRP? What could this do to XRP's price? How much money are we actually talking about here? We also have some really cool news here about Swift features Ripple and Stellar as banking disruptors. We got to talk about this, a new article we're going to go over. Plus, I have some other Ripple and XRP news, guys. Let's start here. Obviously, we got to start here. Trillions could flow into crypto. We know it's coming. There's over $7 trillion sitting on the sideline, waiting to go into speculative assets, waiting for this really to pop off. Listen closely.
Yeah, we do believe the bill will be passed within the next 60 days. And this is further clarification. The Genius Act gave us clarity on stablecoins. This new bill will give us clarity on much more within the general world of crypto. And again, provides the rules that the traditional finance industry, banks, insurance companies, credit card companies, as well as the Fortune 500 generally, need to know that they're able to engage in this marketplace. They know what they're allowed to do, how they're allowed to do it, how they have to disclose it and report it and pay taxes on it. And this is going to unleash the burdens that have kept everybody out of the marketplace. The result of all this, you're going to see hundreds of millions, probably hundreds of billions of dollars, perhaps even trillions of dollars flowing into Bitcoin and other digital assets. And since all of these coins operate on a supply-demand issue, just like any other asset, we're anticipating this is going to be the beginning of a major source of inflows and price increases over the next several years.
This is the beginning of major price increases and inflows into the crypto market over the next few years. So you hear like Raoul Pal saying we're going to 100 trillion over the next, 8 to 10 years. This is where the money is going to come from. Now, I've shown you this before in live streams and in a few of my videos, but I want to just hammer this home to you. This is just in the United States, not using the world here. Just in the US, how much money could flow into the crypto market. This is how much is available to flow into the crypto market if they choose to do that. Insurance companies, 9 trillion. Hedge funds, 4.74 trillion. Pension funds, this is the big one, $43.4 trillion in pension funds. Now, we look at President Trump signing an executive order allowing 401ks and IRAs to enter the crypto space. You start to imagine that there's going to be a lot of people who are interested in moving their retirement funds, some of it into the crypto market. Imagine 10 or 20% of this value going into the crypto market. That's what we're talking about here. It could be 5 trillion, it could be $10 trillion. Brokerage firms, 35 trillion. You have some of the biggest brokerage firms in the world. They have a lot of money under management. Their customers obviously have kids, right? Or some of them are even young millionaires or billionaires. So these people are going to want to get into the crypto market and they're going to have a lot of money to do that. Also looking at endowment funds, these are all schools and universities, 400 billion. Banks have 27 trillion just hanging out and chilling. Family offices have 1.8 trillion. And sovereign wealth funds, I believe it's like 13.9 trillion, but this is more global. This is everything. This is global estimates here of how much money can enter the space. Look at this, brokerage firms, $145 trillion. You're telling me that the crypto market isn't going to go any higher than this? What? Let me just show you something else here. Oh wait, I was going to show you like what could it do to XRP's price. Let me just show you this real quick. All right, so I ran these numbers a while ago. If we took 1% of the flows above 3% or 5%, this is US, this is global, how much money we're talking about could come into, let's say, XRP, right? If we got 1% of all this money, 3% of all this money, 5% of all this money, this is where XRP's price would go. This is with no market cap multiplier. This is just 1 for 1 across the board on inflows to change in market cap. Now, if we start putting in the market cap multipliers, holy smokes, we're taking off to the races here. Here's a 50x, a 100x, and a 250x. I'm not going to spend very much time on this because, let's get there first and then we'll celebrate all of this. But that's the information. That's the numbers. If you want to pause the screen and go over, this is the US 1%, 3%, 5%. This is global 1%, 3%, 5% of all the money above. And here are the multipliers. All right, here is digital asset investor. This is what we've been waiting for. New money is flowing in now. We're at 4.11 trillion in crypto. XRP has done a 475% gain this year, crushing Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. Without new money, what happens next will be epic. All right, and then it says Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent claims that the stablecoin market could grow into 3.7 trillion by the end of the decade. So this is just four years and 5 months away. End of the decade. I know when I say it like that, I'm like, where did the last 5 years go? Holy smokes. If they believe that the stablecoin market, that's about 250 billion today, is going to, 13x, 14x in the next 5 years, what do you think the rest of the crypto market's going to do? If you need to have the rest of the crypto market supporting all all of this additional, stable coins. So the crypto market would probably do something similar, which would bring us to, 80 trillion, $100 trillion market. That's pretty cool. All right, and you start to wonder, what are BlackRock, Vanguard, Fidelity, UBS, State Street, Global Advisors, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan Chase, Credit Agricole, Alliance, Capital Group, Goldman Sachs, BNY Mellon, Amundi, and PIMCO. These people are sitting on $40 trillion. When does this money start entering the space? Has it already started to enter the space? This is exciting stuff, I'm telling you. All right, and here is the article that Digital Assets Daily posted. Swift features Ripple and Stellar as banking disruptors. Let's go ahead and just take a look at what this is. This is August 16th, so I think this is today's date. This will come out on the 17th, yes. So hot off the press, guys. Crypto researcher Smoke. I wonder if Times Tabloid has a deal with Smoke, because they mention him all the time. Whoa. Crypto researcher Smoke has shared images from a Swift branded presentation featuring Ripple and Stellar during a discussion of replacing traditional correspondent banking. These slides outline the current state of the competition in cross-border payment sector and the requirements for any system aiming to disrupt the traditional correspondent banking model. Content of the slides. The presentation begins by referencing the concept of disruptive innovation, attributed to the renowned Harvard Business School professor Clayton Christensen. It highlights that technology acts as an enabler, but a new business model is the key driver of meaningful change. Examples include industries disrupted by companies that do not own the assets traditionally associated with their sector. The slides then address correspondent banking directly, stating that for any alternative to disrupt the model, it must achieve global reach across all countries and all currencies, provide a viable nostro vostro account alternative for settlement, gain regulatory support from authorities familiar with existing systems, justify implementation costs through measurable savings, and deliver superior services to customers. Now, this is a very important paragraph here. Let's just go through this one by one. Basically, all countries and all currencies. Right now, Ripple covers 90% of the FX market, and they have almost every currency already on the XRP ledger. As you get new and new stablecoins, as you get central bank digital currencies, those will in fact make the XRP ledger more accessible to more people globally. This is why Ripple is in South America, they're in Africa, they're in the Middle East, they're in Japan, Australia, they're in all these different parts of the world, Europe, the United States, Mexico, Canada, they're everywhere. They want to cover the entire world and all the currencies. Now, let's take this a step further. Viable nostro vostro account alternative. We know by using on-demand liquidity, you can pretty much get rid of nostro vostro accounts. The reason this is going to be valuable, banks can take money that's been sitting dormant for so many years, right? This is probably anywhere from 15 to $25 trillion globally. I've seen the number vary. And they're going to be able to take this money back and put this money to good use inside of the bank. Now, this could be loaned to people, right? This could be new businesses. This could be supporting existing businesses. This could be people building new homes or whatever it is, right? You can put that money back to good use. You don't need it locked up around the world anymore. This could be beneficial to any country, bringing that money back and putting it to good use for its citizens. Gain regulatory support from authorities familiar with existing systems. Now, this is something that speaks volumes, right? We've seen Ripple, Brad Garlinghouse, and the team in meetings with some of the biggest central bankers and power players in the banking system in the world. You can't ignore the IMF and the BIS and the World Economic Forum and Monetary Authority of Singapore and the Central Bank of Indonesia, all of these different places that Ripple has worked closely side by side with these countries. When you talk about a global currency, right, taking over everything, getting the nod and the okay from these people who actually control these systems, this is what we're talking about here. I don't see any other cryptocurrency outside of XLM even come close to some of the meetings that Ripple and Brad have been in. Let me know down below who has better meetings, right? I don't think anyone's gonna say anything. Justify implementation costs through measurable savings and deliver superior customer service. I mean, do we even need to talk about this, right? The separate slides outlines the high level of competition in cross-border payments through a network diagram. This includes both legacy providers and newer entrants. Ripple and Stellar are displayed alongside other companies and platforms such as PayPal, TransferWise, Western Union, Ria, MoneyGram, Zoom, Currency Fair, WorldRemit, Bitcoin, Payoneer, and Align Commerce. A vertical label on the slide reads correspondent banking disintermediation, suggesting that these competitors are part of a broader trend toward bypassing and streamlining traditional banking pathways. And so here is the image. This is an old image, but hey, nothing like taking something old and making it new, right? Ripple in the middle being a connector of all connectors. And then here's Ripple and Stellar's placement. Ripple and Stellar are positioned within the graphic as players offering faster and more direct alternatives for cross-border settlement. Their inclusion alongside both major remittance companies and digital payment providers indicates that the presentation views them as part of the competitive field that is already influencing the sector. However, their not yet assessment on full disruption shows that Swift considers the correspondent banking model still intact, and even as competition grows, even a high-level person that works for Swift has something on their LinkedIn. I showed this in a video a few days ago that's like 77% complete of like world transformation of correspondent banking. So I think we're getting close, just 23% away. And what will that look like in the future? And then anyways, if you want to read like the rest of this, please do. Laura Shin did have this interview. I thought this was interesting. This is talking about how maybe not safe Tether is, right? And Ethereum. And this is why institutions might choose to use the XRP ledger over those. Listen.
I don't think Ethereum is ready for prime time for real world asset issuance. Like we just witnessed with the Bybit hack that the Ethereum validator set is currently at a place where they're not really willing to do things about significant exploits. And so I would ask the entire Ethereum community, let's assume a worst case scenario happens and Tether or Circle's private keys get compromised, and a hacker is now in control of the smart contract on Ethereum for USDC or USDT, including all of their freeze and seize capabilities. What do you do? Right? Like, what are you doing with your hands? What is your game plan at that point? Because it's going to break everything on that chain. And until we have significantly more mature risk management tooling around like the Ethereum product, it is not ready for prime time.
Interesting. It is not ready for prime time, right? They're not taking this seriously. Institutions are looking to Ethereum as the solution for the entire crypto market, right? Doesn't mean Ethereum's not going to go on to do stupid numbers, but still, you start to wonder what this gentleman's saying here. Are other banks and financial institutions looking at what he's saying and saying, hey, this is worrisome. This is why you go to Ripple, right? Who's the custody of Ripple stablecoin RLUSD? BNY Mellon. Oh my God, it doesn't get bigger than that. Thank you. We got a lot of money coming into this space, right? This is a glorious time to be here, to be present, to be learning, to be growing. You have all of this power. You don't even realize how much power you have. It's the power of showing up, spending some time every day, expanding your knowledge base, your friend base in the crypto space. This is it. There's good people here. Enjoy. Nothing in this video should be taken as financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. Please seek financial advice if you need it. Let's get back to the video.